I imagine this appealed to the younger people who, if they had any young people watching Star Trek back then.
Yeah.
I think this would appeal to them as like, hey, this is now. This is far out, dude. We reach.
Perhaps I could use this as an excuse to go to those far-off planets with little polka-dotted people if necessary, and be able to talk about love, war, nature, God, sex, all those things that go to make up the excitement of the human condition.
I'm Captain James Kirk. Spock.
Your move, Captain. Jim Kirk of the Enterprise.
What's going on? I'm James Kirk. These people are my friends and my shipmates. Leave my crew alone.
Out of the question.
How about that?
James Kirk.
It fits like a glove, Captain.
Oh, the bonehead ideas. Gentlemen, I'm Captain James Kirk. Get out of my chair. Get out of it now.
My greetings and felicitations, Captain. So good of you and your officers to, drop in. Absolutely smashing.
Get in, Herbert. We're going Star Trekking. And welcome to Humanist Trek. It's a Star Trek podcast about the humanism in Star Trek. I'm Sarah Ray.
And I'm Allie Ashmead.
And I want to let everybody know that we are working on a special episode for our season 3 end of the original series wrap party. We have extended a special invitation to our patrons to have a chance at coming on the show to play stupid Star Trek games with us. So if you're a patron, go check the post on Patreon and get that filled out. There's a form. It's not difficult, and, be fun and silly with it. Like, one of the questions is like, why do you think you would be a good guest on the show or something like that? We're looking for people to come on and have a good time. That's all.
Yeah. It's a wrap party, basically.
Yeah. And if you're not a patron, there's still time to join our fleet and get in on this fun Patreon perk. And I think, if I haven't gotten any hits yet, but this could be a lot of fun. And this is definitely something that we can see ourselves doing again in the future.
Yeah.
We also want to remind everyone, I don't talk about this often enough, but we do have a phone number that you can call and leave us voicemails or send us texts. That number is 920-550-TREK, which is 920-550-8735. Ooh, maybe somebody will call in and sing us their best Space Hippie song.
Oh, man.
This episode. No, I know. Write a verse about Humanist Trek in Space Hippie style and call in and sing it to us.
Oh, that would be so good.
Right? Well, tune up your weird sword-shaped guitar. It's time for Star Trek The Original Series, Season 3, Episode 20, The Way to Eden.
Sir, contact with an object. It's moving toward us. No visual contact yet.
Deflectors, full intensity.
Mr. Sulu, yes, Captain. Anything on your scanners?
It's coming at light speed.
Collision course. Visual contact.
Anything, over?
All wavelengths dominated by ionization effects, sir.
All engines full stop.
I just want to say right out of the gate here, I was annoyed. I'm starting to, and I've noticed this the next couple of episodes. I was annoyed by the remastering in this one. So we're in pursuit of this ship, and in the original version, this ship they took the model from the Tholian ship and glued on some nacelles to it. Yeah. And then the remaster, they created a whole new Federation looking ship for this.
Yeah.
And then when you see shots of the Enterprise in pursuit, it doesn't even look like the Enterprise to me. I don't know. I looked at a comparison in the next couple of episodes too. I looked at the comparison between the original and the remaster. The ship is much more gray in the remaster and was more white in the original. Yeah, I don't know.
Metallic.
I'm an originalist, I guess. Shit. Anyway, we're chasing after this stolen cruiser Aurora, not to be confused with where Allie lives. And nobody's answering the damn phone.
They read 6 people on board and nobody's answering, and they confirm it's not a malfunction. They're literally ignoring them.
Hey, Herbert. We're not in the mood to answer the phone. It's a no-go, Herbert.
Oh, my gosh.
So this ship is flying erratically, veering off toward Romulan space. And they're pushing that ship so hard, it's about to blow.
Well, the reason it's about to blow is because they decide to engage the tractor beam at that fucking speed, and apparently you can't do that.
Scotty's down in the transporter room, ready to emergency beam this crew over as soon as they get in range. And it's a close call because the Aurora blows itself to bits, and we don't see right away whether Scotty got him or not. And Kirk's on the tannoy like, well, Scotty, did you get him?
Did you get him? And sure enough, we have 6 people appear on the transporter, and Scotty kind of just is gobsmacked when he's looking at them, and they just show his face and they don't show the 6 people. And he's like, yeah, we got him, and they're a nice lot. And they pan over to the people who've appeared on the transporter pad, and they're all, as the actual episode describes them, as space hippies. They're all dressed in colorful and a little bit skimpy dress, men and women, and they've got like flowers painted all over their bodies, and definitely space hippies.
Yeah, hippies all around me. Hippies. They're everywhere. They want to save the earth, but all they do is smoke pot and smell bad. Help.
Okay, so then we have to do this. Like the...
Was it this like this?
Yeah, it's... Okay, so here's the thing. So they're all doing this thing with their hands, and I couldn't tell. Is it supposed to be like a circle? Because it's like one, right? They talk about, or are you one with the body or whatever?
I said triangle,
but it looks,
because
some of them look like they're doing triangle. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway. Captain's log brings us back in. One of these 6 hippies is the son of the Catulan ambassador, and that's a problem because they're in the middle of some really delicate treaty negotiations between the Federation and Catula. And during this log, we see the space hippies come off the transporter, and they all kind of sit in a circle on the floor. Some of them have really neat stringed instruments. There's like a wagon wheel looking thing with like a wheel with the hub with the...
And
the sword looking guitar thing. Yeah.
That's what instruments look like in the future, I guess. Kirk orders Scotty to take them to the briefing room, but then one woman pipes up and she says, we're not in the mood, Herbert. And back to the bridge where Chiku, I always call him Chiku, Chekhov hears the female voice and he's like, Irina? But more about that later.
He doesn't say it loud enough for anyone else to hear.
Right. He kind of says it to himself as if he recognizes that voice.
Yeah. Anyway, they're refusing to leave the transporter room, so Kirk heads down there to handle it himself. These are some cute outfits that you could pull off.
I don't know.
You could totes cosplay some of these cute outfits.
If I could sew or, yeah.
Find someone who can. Yeah.
Find someone who can. Yeah. But as he's heading down, they have sat their asses on the floor, like staging a real sit-in, and they're starting to chant, no, go, no, go.
No, go, 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 no, go.
Which one of you is Tongo Rat?
And one of the guys with long purple hair steps up. Now, these aliens and their headpieces, this guy has like 3 more inches of forehead than you probably oughta. And like, it's so obvious the bald guy is wearing a bald cap.
Bald cap.
Yeah, yeah.
With a nice flower painted on. I didn't know if these people were supposed to be like teenagers or young people.
Yeah, it was hard to tell.
Not, because they were clearly like Kirk's age and older.
Right. So this long purple haired dude steps to Kirk, and Kirk just unloads on him like an academy drill instructor or something. He's like, okay, let's go over the possible charges here. Piracy, violating flight regulations, entering hostile space, endangering the lives of others as well as your own. You've caused an interstellar incident, which may have undone all the work that's happened on this treaty between our people. You know, it's a damn good thing your daddy is a man of power, or you'd be in stocks right now. And that's the only thing this whole episode that keeps Kirk from
fucking putting him in the brig.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But the guy is just like a rebellious teenager. He's like, oh, I'm bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
And he really doesn't care that much. Very rebellious. Before he sits back down and crosses his arms, he tells Kirk, you got a hard lip, Herbert. And then he sits back down.
So let's talk about the language a little bit here. So they've done this thing, and this always brings me back to that episode of Voyager. Oh, God, what are the words that they use?
His glimpse is too tame to be a Creighton.
It's the episode where Chakotay is in...
Oh, I can't remember what it's called. It was like these certain people.
I hadn't fathomed that, sir. We'll fathom it now. He's no nemesis, is he?
But anyway, these guys talk like that too. They're like,
you reach, we reach. That means you understand.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like, you know, how teenagers make up their own language. Like every generation has like at some point somebody said, man, that's far out, man. You know, that's sort of what this is. This is just another brand of teenage speak. Cause I think they're all supposed to be young people.
Right. Well, before we go too much further, there's also a lot of other players here, and none of them get name checked until later, which makes it kind of hard to talk about them. So Purple Hair is Tongo Rad, played by Victor Brandt, who went on to a prolific voice actor career. Then we have this kind of hothead of the group, Adam, because if we're going to Eden, we need to have a blonde-haired Adam.
I know. We all his face is so recognizable. It's those teeth and that face is so recognizable.
That's Charles Napier, who was in a ton of TV and movies.
Man, Rambo. I think he was in Rambo back in the 80s. He always plays like a bad guy or some general smoking a cigar. You know, that's just him.
Their presumed leader, Severin, he's the bald hat cap dude with what looks like silly putty squished on the sides of his head where ears should be.
He has the worst case of cauliflower ear I've ever seen. It's so bad.
That is Skip Homier, who was a child actor who got his start in radio and then did some Broadway dramas. He went on to do a bunch of guest appearances in the 60s and 70s. The other three in this sextet are women, and we'll talk about them later as we get to them. So Kirk steps back to Spock, and he tells him to take them to sickbay, but Spock's like, hang on, Jim, I think I'm hip to this lingo. And so Spock steps forward, and he does the circle hands like we saw these people doing when they beamed in. And Spock says, one, and Rad says, we are one. And Adams asks, are you one, Herbert? And Spock's like, I'm not Herbert. And Adam's like, woohoo, fuck yeah, one of us. He's not a Herbert.
He says, we reach, which means we understand.
So Spock knows about this Hare Krishna JW movement or whatever these people are?
How? Because there's 6 people in this group.
Yeah.
There's 6 believers. How does he know about this? So anyway, Spock takes the opportunity to try to get them to state their purpose. You know, what is your objective? You know, why did you steal the ship? What's your deal, man? And they say that they are looking for the planet Eden and that they're turning their backs on confusion and they seek the beginning.
Kirk's like, that planet is a myth. But these guys are true believers. And not only that, they're really pissed off about being harassed, chased, attacked, and taken captive like this. They don't recognize the Federation, man.
We just spent our first semester at college. Our professors opened our eyes. The government is using its corporate ties to make you sell magazines so they can get rich.
Those dirty liars!
There's like this whole fight the power / peace and love vibe here going on. They don't recognize authority other than authority within themselves.
That reminded me a lot of today's sovereign citizens. This whole like, oh, I don't answer to a government, man. I am my own government or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, that's basically what they're wanting to do is to just get away from the man.
Yeah. And Kirk's like, well, I'm the man on this ship, and that gives me the authority, whether you recognize it or not. And he tells him, we're going to take you to a starbase, drop your ass off. They'll take you back to your various planets. But he reminds them, like, look, you're not prisoners here. You're guests. And we expect you to behave as such.
That earns him some name calling because they respectfully ask to be taken to Eden, and Kirk just says, no, you're going to be taken to sick bay and you're going to go to your quarters, and this is not a passenger ship.
Kirk pulls this classic boss move where he makes this whole thing Spock's problem. Right? They're like, we respectfully, I request that you take us to Eden. And Kirk's just like, Spock, when they're finished in sickbay, he's ignoring these people now. When they're finished in sickbay, escort them to quarters, give them whatever they need. This is your problem now.
So they just start chanting, Herbert, 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 Herbert,
Herbert, Herbert, Herbert, Herbert, Herbert.
So Kirk rushes back to the bridge where there's a white girl in Uhura's chair. I was like, excuse me, where's Uhura?
She was just out in this episode. I don't know why, but Lieutenant Palmer this is her second appearance, so she's taking over for Uhura. Maybe Uhura just needed some shut-eye.
Right, yeah. Maybe Nichelle was on vacation. It didn't say. I looked. It didn't say anything.
Or she could have been doing like another Broadway or some sort of, because she did do that occasionally.
That's true.
So Kirk asks Lieutenant Palmer to let Starbase know that they've got the people on board who stole the Aurora, and to also let the Catulan ambassador know that his son is safe. And this is when Chiku decides to tell Kirk that I may know one of those women in the group. Her name is Arena, and they were all at Starfleet together.
I felt some type of way about Kirk's response here, because Kirk's like, wait a minute. One of those people went to college?
Yeah, exactly. That's very biggity, or what's the word? Because he assumes that just because they're not a Starfleet officer doesn't mean they don't have an education.
Right. This has got to be the answer to this week's question, right? What George was all mad about was the way they portrayed the hippies. Was it George or Walter? I don't remember the question.
It was Walter. I think it was Walter. I did read why he didn't like this episode at all.
Kirk gets the idea pretty quickly that Chekhov's feeling some type of way, having heard this girl's voice, so he dismisses him to go see Arena. And as Chekhov leaves, Spock returns to the bridge, having dropped his new friends off in sickbay. So Kirk and Spock engage in a conversation that I read a couple of different ways. Kirk is incredulous at the belief these people have about Eden, and in how they're forsaking all their scientific knowledge in the pursuit of what he sees as primitive. So these people are not primitive, uneducated, whatever, hippies. Like, they all have Severin, their leader, is a doctor of some sort, and they're all turning their back on their scientific knowledge, Kirk feels, to follow this religion that they've fallen into.
Yeah, I guess we could call it a religion, but
it reads to me both as a swing at religion, clinging to the primitive, unbelievable myths despite our scientific knowledge, but also like it's a reflection of the real life hippie movement.
Right. It's a swing at kids making up their own minds, and it's saying F you to the establishment too.
Yeah.
So it's a swing to both of them.
They talk here about how these people are uncomfortable with what modernity has created. Planned communities, programming, sterilized and perfectly balanced atmospheres. They don't want hospital air conditioning. They want wide open spaces and green grass and fresh air.
And I feel like they should go get it, but they don't need to steal a ship for it. And that's exactly what Kirk says. That they don't need to steal space cruisers and stuff and act like irresponsible children. And he asks Spock, like, why are you so sympathetic towards them? And it's not that he's sympathetic. He just says he's more curious than anything. He just wants to understand them. And then he does say something that really like resonates with his whole journey on this episode. He says they regard themselves as aliens in their own world, and that's a condition with which Spock is very familiar. But I will say that, Spock does point out that none of these guys are stupid.
Right.
Yeah, they believe in a myth, but they're not stupid. Dr. Severin, as you mentioned, he's a research engineer in acoustics and communication. All of them have had some sort of education. Arena has had Starfleet training, so it's not like they're uneducated.
Right. So if Kirk is playing sort of the ardent atheist here, right? Like kind of this quest for Eden is nonsense is Kirk's position. Then Spock is playing a kind of like curious humanist, right? He wants to understand where these people are coming from, especially because they see themselves as a kind of foreigner,
Mhm.
even in their own people, which he relates to. So I really read that as kind of juxtaposing those two approaches together there. And then Spock explains that Herbert is an insult.
Yes, Kirk's like, by the way, what does Herbert mean? Did you have any thoughts about
Who that
an
was? Or what that?
internal meaning of
No,
Herbert?
I didn't.
I was thinking, well, is it some like political figure or something? Maybe Herbert Hoover or something. But then
Right.
I also read that it could have been. There was like rumors that it could have been like an ex-executive producer with it. So I don't know. I don't know if it was like a jab at him.
Interesting.
Who knows? But Spock just says, "Oh, it's an uncomplimentary name. He was a minor official, notorious for his rigid and limited patterns of thought."
So Kirk's like, okay, well, I'll try to be a little less rigid in my thinking. Cut to sickbay, where the hippies have decided to have an impromptu jam sesh. Adam has this backward sword-looking guitar thing. I need one of these to hang on the wall here.
You could probably make that out of some junk. Okay, I'm pretty sure you could get some junk and some strings and make it, because that's exactly what it looked like strung together.
So Adam is singing and jamming out, and when the hook drops, Tongo starts playing a bongo. And as the song winds down, Chekhov comes in looking for Irina, and Adam says she's getting her physical right now. And he drops a hot fucking rhyme. He says, "Gonna crack my knuckles and jump for joy. I got a clean bill of health from Dr. McCoy."
Hey, Adam, I feel you. I feel you. He and I, yeah.
Oh my God. This episode is so stupid, Allie.
I love it, though. I actually liked it. I really liked it.
I did too.
There's something that Tongo Rad says to Chiku when he comes in. He's like, "Why are you wearing so many clothes, man? Can't you breathe?" And I just thought that was interesting. I want to put a pin in that, and maybe we can talk about it at the end. But I just thought,
yeah,
what was the point of that dialogue? And then I had some thoughts about it.
Okay. Chapel and a couple of medical jumpsuit guys come into the room to get Severin for his physical. And as they all leave the room, Irina comes back out, and she, for sure, remembers Chekhov. She is played by Mary Linda Rappel.
She didn't look familiar to me.
No, she doesn't. She didn't have a lot of acting credits either. But she did do some soaps. She was in One Life to Live.
Oh.
As Faith Kipling.
Didn't watch that one. Didn't watch the one soap opera I did not watch.
Was One Life to Live. How about As the World Turns?
Yeah.
She was Maggie Crawford / Maggie Andropoulos / Maggie Corey.
Wow.
On As the World. She got married a lot. You know how soaps are.
Don't know. I thought maybe she had a twin sister.
And that's possible. Yeah, that could have been. She also has a credit as Ambassador Raina Morgan on Star Trek New Voyages, which I was very shamed to not know much about. So I looked it up. And I think we should do these two at some point, maybe for patrons or something. There's a ton of episodes, and this was a CBS / Paramount blessed fan production.
Oh, cool.
That ran from 2008 to 2015, and it was still the adventures of Spock, McCoy, and Kirk, but it was an all new cast, except for Walter Koenig was in it, George Takei, Grace Lee Whitney, and Denise Crosby of all people.
Oh wow! Okay, yeah, right? Never heard of it.
DC Fontana and David Gerald did some of the writing, like original TOS writers. Yeah, it looked fun. Anyway, as Chekhov is about to ask Irina, "What the fuck, man?" some of the others start to gather around them. So he takes her for a romantic walk down the corridor where he asks her, "What the fuck, man?" He's like, "You were a scientist and now look at you." And she's like, "Look at you." This whole conversation, other crew people are walking down the corridors past
and
them.
Really looking at them hard.
Yeah.
Well, like, let Chiku have a moment. So they have some sort of unrequited love. And yeah, he's lecturing her because she was a scientist at Starfleet Academy, and now she's given it up to be a flower child. And she kind of throws it right back because he always disapproved of her. He was always so straight-laced, and inside he struggled not to be. And then she was always did whatever she wanted. And apparently Chiku had to go away at some point from Starfleet Academy. And then when he came back, she wasn't there. So he was like, where did you go? Why did you leave? And she had just left Starfleet and went into the city to stay with friends and basically walked away from Starfleet.
She makes the argument that he's basically doing social conformity.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you'd be a whole lot happier if you'd just get high for Jesus with me, you know?
Give in.
It seems like there's an effort to convert here.
Oh, a big effort. This is just the beginning, but it's an effort to convert. And she says, you'll be happy or you'll see. And he just tells her, you know what? Go to your friends.
Not long after she leaves, we hear a commotion out in the hallway, and Chekhov goes out to investigate. Apparently, all the space hippies are outside sickbay now, and there's a couple poor red shirts trying to keep them out, holding the line. So Chekhov goes to help hold the line. Chapel comes out of sickbay to help too, and that takes us into the break.
So this is the first time we see McCoy in the whole episode. Of course, Kirk is wanting to know what the hell's going on, and the kids are being really rowdy because they want their daddy, who is Dr. Severin, but Dr. Severin is up for it's his turn to do the checkup, and he is refusing to do his medical checkup. And this is where it really gets interesting. And McCoy is pissed.
McCoy knows why he doesn't want to have a checkup. Synthococcus novae. Synthocovid. That's what he's got. Yeah, it's a nasty little bug. It's a nasty little bug that was created in a lab in Wuhan, but it got leaked out. Super deadly, caused by all the sterilizing of everything. And, you know, this is an argument that I think a lot of people make about, like, daycares and kids getting sick at daycare. They argue that, like, everything is so sterile now. Every time a kid blinks, you're like, psh, 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 wipe with the bleach or whatever. And so that kills all the germs, not just the, bad ones, the good ones too.
It kills the good stuff too. Yeah.
And so, like, because of that, kids aren't exposed to the things we were all exposed to in pre-K or kindergarten or whatever. When, back in the 80s when they didn't clean shit.
No, and we all ate dirt. And
right.
everything.
Yeah. Drink from the hose and all. Yeah. Oh, God, we're old. So what I don't know if the science is behind that idea or not, but that's what's happening here on the Enterprise.
Right. This bug evolved from their uncontaminated civilizations, and it's just deadly. They can immunize against it, but they haven't learned everything about the virus in order to completely beat it. So Severin, as we find out, is a carrier for this virus. He's immune, but he can spread it to others. So he's basically like a typhoid Severin.
He's Synthocovid Severin.
Synthocovid Severin.
Yeah.
All of the Enterprise crew, they're immunized before going on board, but there could be some gaps without regular booster shots. Imagine that, huh?
You gotta get stuck and boosted. Friends. Yeah.
And luckily all the other hippie kids are clear at the moment, but McCoy recommends isolation for Severin. But of course, Severin starts protesting, my rights,
He is a red hat rip shit about having to be quarantined.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you invent a crime, find me guilty, and sentence me, he says. And despite being a scientist himself, he doesn't believe in the COVID-19.
He just says, I refuse to accept your findings. Boy, does this sound familiar at all?
Right. Not only that, but when McCoy claims Severin knew he was Synthocovid positive when they beamed him aboard, he denies that. And he goes all fucking sovereign citizen again about how your medical exam is an infringement on my rights.
Mm-hmm.
So the red shirts haul Severin off to be quarantined, kicking and screaming. And McCoy says, if anyone's infected, it'll start showing in 24 hours. Spoiler alert, this is a story thread that never gets tied off.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. They only had an hour. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but the point is, you could take Syntha COVID-19 out of this episode, and it really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference.
No, unless they used it, but they did. They never really used it, other than to maybe establish that he's not as, I don't know, what's the word? He shouldn't be revered as these kids revere him as their leader. So that if only to just establish that maybe he's not on the up and up like everybody thinks he is.
That's a good point. So Kirk goes out into the hallway where this hippie mob has turned into a peaceful sit-in, but around the corner, Sulu is getting the Jehovah's Witness, let me tell you about our religion talk from this cute brunette woman.
The whole time I'm like, she's chatting him up and she's like, we know what you want. We want it too. And he's like, how do you know what I want? Lady, I don't think you know what.
No, Sulu's like, I don't think you know what I want. I don't think you know what I like. You're not what I like. This is acting.
But he does say he's smiling like a goof.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, it's tempting. And I think she like hands him some sort of fucking rock that she had. They all have like this. I don't know if you noticed, they have like a rock on their uniform.
I did not notice that. No.
They have like some sort of
crystals.
rock with no, it's actually, it looks like a big stone.
Oh, okay.
And it was like on their shoulder or something. Each person had it on, and she was handing him the rock. And he's just like, it sounds tempting. He's looking at the rock.
I didn't even notice that. Wow.
Yeah.
So this brunette is Phyllis Douglas, playing a character named Mavig, but her character was only named in the script. Her screen credit was girl number 2.
Yeah, never got a name.
She didn't have much of a career in the biz, but her very first credit was as a 2-year-old in 1939 as baby Bonnie Blue Butler in Gone with the Wind.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
You know nothing about birthing no baby, Miss Scarlett.
When Kirk announces that Severin will be released from quarantine just as soon as his Syntha COVID test comes back negative, this kicks off another song as Adam plays his neato guitar. And this song is another fuck the government verse, right?
Yep.
What's going on in this world of mine? There's a whole lot of killing in this world of mine. Somebody's got to help this world of mine.
And they all start yelling Herbert as Kirk, Chekhov, and Sulu back away into the elevator.
As they're entering the bridge, they have a call from Scotty in engineering saying that one of those whatchamacallit something or others are down here trying to tempt one of his crew to disaffect, which I mean basically leave his, I think that means leave his duties.
They've got a whole Jehovah's Witness cart down in engineering now, trying to give pamphlets and shit to the crew.
They've set up their chair and they have their little stand that they do. So then Kirk is like, Spock, can you please go down and talk to these kids? You are the only one who can get through to them.
We get a passage of time captain's log where Kirk explains that if this doesn't settle down soon, he might have to go against Starfleet's imperative to handle these people with tolerance and lock them all up. Lock them up. Lock them up. Speaking of the brig, Spock is down in the brig now trying to get Severin to talk to his people.
I think it's funny that all them other rowdy kids are left to be able to roam the fucking ship. And I mean, I appreciate they did put Severin in the bridge because he posed the health risk. But the rest of them should be quarantined somewhere, but they're left to walk around not even escorted by red shirts.
Because that's what we do on this ship. I'm surprised they didn't give them a personalized tour of the fucking bridge.
Hey, here's the engineering. Let me show you how this works.
Yeah. Well, stay tuned. That's coming soon.
Yeah.
Spock even offers to use the Enterprise to help research and find Eden, if it even exists. And then he'd make a case to the Federation to let these space hippies colonize the planet. But you got to calm these people down.
I know hippies. I've hated them all my life. I've kept this town free of hippies on my own since I was 5.5, but I can't contain them on my own anymore. We have to do something fast.
Eric, we're talking about potholes right now, okay?
It's not potholes you need to worry about. It's potheads. I know what these people are capable of.
Johnson, get him out of here.
We learn here that Severin did in fact know he was a syntho-COVID carrier, and he's on a no-fly list. He's restricted to visiting only planets where modern technology have made it safe for others. That's a point he's extra pissed about. This restriction feels like a prison to him, and he resents the very technology that allowed him to become infected in the first place and now prevents him from being truly free. And so he says he seeks out the primitives. Only they can help him. Only their way of living is right. This really struck me as like, I look at the conservative liberal pull and push in our society today, and a lot of that is reflected in this episode too. That to go back to the old way, to live, we should be living on the land like our ancestors did. That's the only way that's right. That kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something that's really important too, that Spock points out to him about these primitives is that your very presence will destroy the people that you seek. And he's like, surely you know that. Like,
he's a walking smallpox blanket.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Severin is all like, I'm going to go to them and be one with them, and we're going to build a world that this galaxy's never seen. But the thing is, you start building. He wants to stay primitive, but then he starts building this world, and guess what you're going to end up with? The same fucking shit you got now. Whatever.
He believes somehow this primitiveness or the primitive people can cure him without presenting any evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's just he believes it. There's no proof, and he's a scientist, which is surprising.
Yep. Well, we find out later what's really going on up there.
So Spock's done talking to him. They go pan back to the bridge. Spock is back on the bridge, and he's talking to Kirk, and the first words that come out of his mouth is, Dr. Severin is insane. I died laughing when he said that.
He's like, I haven't checked with McCoy, but let's be honest, he's not going to be helpful.
No.
Spock tells Kirk that despite Severin's condition, he is still interested in their movement. And, oh, by the way, I promised him that I would find Eden. And the look on Kirk's face, again, like he is the incredulous skeptic throughout this episode. He can't believe Spock has fallen in with this stuff.
Spock is doing this from just like, let these people go off and do what they want. They haven't been tried with anything yet. They're not in too much trouble yet. So there's still a chance that if they don't fuck this up, they can go and live in their little environment like they want. And he's going to still make the case to the Federation on their behalf. And he's going to work to find Eden, and he's going to ask Chiku for assistance.
Another passage of time captain's log. McCoy is going to check medical records to verify Severin's insanity, and Severin has agreed to order his disciples to conform to the Enterprise's rules.
I was like, that was easy.
Right? In Spock's quarters, he's doing his research when Adam rings the doorbell, and as soon as he gets inside, he sees Spock's Vulcan lyre. And this is the thing that we guitar players all do. Oh, man.
You got a guitar. Can I play?
Yeah, you play. Can I play? And Adam strums a few chords, and he's like, this is fucking sick, man. Groovy. Will you play for me? So Spock plays a few chords himself, and every time they cut back to Adam, he's just, this guy's acting choices. He's just in heaven. Wow, man, this is so fucking cool.
Actually, he was my favorite. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he was good.
He was my favorite character, partly because I knew him. I recognize this guy.
Yeah.
And he did a lot. His acting chops, singing and playing, and it was really good.
So Adam's like, hey man, we should have a jam sesh. That'd be pretty groovy, yeah? And there's a dig at Kirk here, which I thought was fun.
I love it.
He says, we're trying to follow the rules, and that's why I came to ask your permission, Spock, to have a jam session and all. He says, I wanted to ask, great white captain upstairs, but he don't reach us, man.
Oh, that was so good.
So good.
Great white captain.
So Spock says yes to the jam session, and Adam excitedly leaves to spread the word.
I think that they're setting up for a hippie music festival.
A what?
It's simple science. Look, when hippies start to nest in a new area, it draws other hippies in. With the right weather conditions, topography, it can lead to a music festival. One that lasts for days, even weeks. Reggae on the River, Woodstock, Burning Man, they would all pale in comparison to what we're looking at now. In my professional opinion, I think we're looking at a full-blown hippie jam fest the size of which we've never seen.
In the auxiliary control, Chiku is actually doing some work in tangent with Spock, trying to help him find Eden. And Arena comes in. She asks for permission to come in, and she's like, "What's this room for?"
And he fucking tells her.
He tells her, fucking vomits. He vomits the information. Oh, yeah, this is for if the main control room breaks down and suffers damage, we can navigate the ship from here. It has everything that the ship needs as far as knowledge.
Yeah, and if you don't know, you can just go press that button over there and the ship will tell you.
Yeah.
Super easy. Yeah.
And she just makes small talk and she says apologizing for teasing him before, but she's still asking questions about what he's doing. And then, he does tell her, we're helping Mr. Spock try to find Eden for you. And he's explaining a lot of techno babble. And she's standing right up in his grill, and he's all flustered and stuff. So he can't even think straight.
As he's explaining how he doesn't have all this astrophysics knowledge himself, the computer has it. And the sweet love music strikes up, and she thinks this means he is controlled by the technology. And he's kind of explains to her that it's just a tool. Speaking of tools, mine's hard now.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my. She's like, I could never obey a computer. And he's like, you never obeyed nothing. You had to be different. You never listened to anybody. And she's like, not different, just what I wanted to be. Doing what you want isn't wrong. And she wants to do him. And they do.
Well, they start kissing. And then this is when we figure out Spock is actually on the other end of the computer waiting for him to do stuff. So Spock says, I am not receiving Mr. Chekhov. And he's like, Spock to Chekhov. Chekhov is, tongue deep in her mouth. But he finally sobers up and he's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Spock. I was momentarily delayed.
Mm-hmm. Back in the guest quarters, we learn they're definitely plotting something.
Yeah, they're doing recon, basically. Rad has clocked Sulu and the fact that he's a botanist. And then Adam had done recon on Spock. So that whole act of going in and checking out his guitar was just an act. But he's like, Spock is practically one now.
One with the body.
Yep. And then Arena comes in and she reports that everything can be handled from auxiliary control. And that the computers have all the information they need. So she was just sort of using Chiku for Chiku.
Mm-hmm. So their plan now is to go out and try to win over as many of the Starfleets as they can, and by being nice. I'm sorry, I've been calling them J-dubs this whole time. They're more like Mormons. Kill them with kindness.
All they're missing is the bicycle helmet and the white shirt and tie and book bag. But yeah, they're going to swing people for Jesus. I don't know.
And we go to commercial on a dramatic musical hit, while Severin stands menacingly behind the force field of his cell. After the commercial, this is great. The jam session is on in the rec room now, and a crowd is gathering. And apparently this is being broadcast over the tannoy because we get cuts all over the ship as crew people are like grooving and bopping along.
They're grooving, and it's Woodstock Enterprise right now.
This is a South Park News special report. Thousands of people have descended on South Park for a hippie music jam festival. The event is said to be the largest such gathering in the history of man. All right, welcome to Hippie Jam Fest 2005!
They're laying some stuff down, and everybody's grooving. Even the red shirt that's outside of Severin's I mean, that's such a foreboding shot because I think we kind of know what's fucking going to happen. He's just standing there grooving, and he's supposed to be paying attention and guarding it.
So Adam and the blonde woman with a side ponytail are singing this time. And Side Pony is not named. And
yeah, who is she though? Because she's a great singer.
She was credited as girl number 1. That's Deborah Downey, who did not have much of an acting career or singing career beyond this. Just a small handful of appearances here and there. Not many.
They are doing a really great jam session. I really enjoyed the music, and it did feel like I'm in the 60s. It's peace and love, and all their songs were like rise up oppression type things, and it was great. I loved it. That's my favorite. This is one of my favorite episodes, I think.
I love it. Mid-song, Spock arrives with his lyre, and as soon as this song finishes, Adam invites Spock to play. And so he sits next to Side Pony, who is playing this wagon wheel looking instrument thing, and they start rocking out.
Oh man, I can't wait to see the look on those little Eichmann's faces when they hear this crunchy groove.
In the distance, we see Adam slip off out of the room while Spock is distracted.
We cut down to the brig where the red shirt guarding Seven is bebopping along with his eyes closed. And then Rad climbs up a ladder behind him and sneaks up and knocks him out. This is like a Vulcan neck pinch, but not quite.
Something else. It's like behind your neck on both sides.
Yeah.
It seems pretty as effective as a Vulcan neck pinch. What did they do? Pipe weed through the air system as well? Because everybody was like hypnotized by this music.
Well, now Severin is free, and we cut up to the bridge where an engineer is air drumming.
Like everyone's stoned. It's like everyone is fucking stoned.
And Scotty goes to Kirk like, fucking young people. They're all troublemakers. And Kirk's like,
now, Randy, we were the same way once, too. Don't forget that we were both considered hippies back in the 60s.
Yeah, but when we did it, we actually stood for something. I mean, remember Woodstock, Sharon? We actually did something there.
Woo! Party, woo! Woohoo!
Oh, woo! Oh!
You ate too much acid, man! Oh my God. Our son is with those people.
And then meanwhile, in the auxiliary control, Rad is knocking people out. They're basically, he and Severin are taking over. They sit down and they start mashing buttons.
Back in the rec room, big applause as the song ends. And Spock just gets up and leaves. He came to play one song and he's out.
I love him. I swear. Like, I think if I knew someone like Spock, I would love it. Because it's like, there's no fuss. He comes in, does what he needs to do, and then go. And he's done.
Severin and Rad click and clack some buttons. And upstairs, Sulu's controls go out. And Scotty quickly determines that it's been rerouted to auxiliary control. Kirk calls down, and Severin finally gets to do a little evil monologuing. He controls all the ship's functions, including life support, and he's got the doors locked, so don't try anything funny, or boom. Then, just like the ship at the beginning of this episode, the Enterprise takes a hard turn toward Romulan space, and Kirk tries to explain, like, look, the Romulans are going to fuck us up if they find us.
And I guess this Eden is, or where they think Eden is somewhere in Romulan space.
Yeah. He gives Severin a chance to turn around and head for Starbase, and we won't press charges. If you turn the car around right now, we won't press charges. The whole band of space hippies is in auxiliary control now. So Kirk tries to appeal to them, tells them that they're being used by an insane man, and they all start laughing. So Kirk's like, Spock, you go talk to them. I'm done. I can't
get through to them.
So Spock gets on the mic, and he tells them that there are medical files they can look at in the computer. One showing Severin's syntho-COVID positive test, and another, a psych profile done at the same hospital that proves he's insane.
They're not listening. Adam's being sarcastic, and he's like, ain't that just awful? I mean, what? This is like, it's like, sometimes it's like talking to the uneducated people these days where they don't want to know the details. They don't care. I don't know. I won't say it's educated. It's more just intellectual laziness.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't want to know.
So Spock starts speaking street back to them. He's like, look, I reach you. I believe in what you seek, but what you seek and what Severin seeks are not the same thing. And still, Adam doesn't buy it, and he hangs up the phone on him. And suddenly, Rad says, there it is. They've established Eden, which I assume means that Spock and Chekhov found Eden in their Google search. And there's a conversation here about like, oh, it wasn't where we thought it would be, but they're 3 hours away. During that 3 hours, Severin expects the Starfleets to try to persuade them to change course, and when they don't, they'll attack. So he goes over to the far wall and yanks off a panel and starts dicking with the gibbets inside while Adam strikes up another song, because it's never a bad time for a song.
Yep, and I really love, so I don't know if you knew, the guy singing that, he wrote all of that.
Really?
And he's actually performing it as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He starts singing Heading Out to Eden, Yay, Brother.
No more trouble in my body or my mind. Gonna live like a king on whatever I find. Eat all the fruit and throw away the rind. Yay, brother, yay.
On the bridge, Spock reports that they're on approach to Eden, so Kirk, Spock, and Scotty leave the bridge. Rad also sees that they're approaching Eden, just as the Starfleets plotted it. Did you think at this moment that this was a trap that Spock and Chekhov set? I thought maybe this was a trap.
No, I didn't. I really didn't think that didn't cross my mind of them doing any type of trickery.
Irina asks about the changes Severin made to that panel, and he explains that he's going to use sound against the Starfleets, beyond the ultrasonic, to stun them and give them time to escape. And she's like, whoa, I remember reading in a science textbook that that'll kill them, not stun them. And like the insane guru he is, he just kind of waves this away with a, trust me.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah. And this is what I thought he was I thought he was lying, and he could have been, that his plan was to kill them.
Yeah.
But they would have believed anything he said at this point.
Yeah. But Rad also says that those sound waves or whatever would destroy. So maybe these are like the first little nuggets of them starting to question his sanity or his leadership.
But Severin is like, nah, it's like you said, it's fine. And I've gone beyond whatever you've read and I fixed it so it won't kill him or whatever. And sure enough, they're in orbit over Eden. And as they're talking and figuring out how they're going to get off the ship, they see this flame coming through the door. So they're basically a Spock and crew. They're going to blowtorch and open the door.
What do we do on this show when there's a locked door we can't get through? Burn a hole in the wall with a phaser.
And not like go rip the panel. Like these days, they rip the control panel off, hot wire it, and it opens.
Yeah, right. Well, the last time they did this, the torch thing didn't cut all the way through the wall on both sides, right? It was just one side. Because this time, Scotty's torching this thing clear through the wall. And that tips off the Space Hippies. And Severin activates this sound weapon. And we get some great shots around the ship as people like grab their heads and drop to the ground in pain. Did you
Yes, I know.
recognize
it is footage.
some reused footage here? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. It was from Spock's brain or something, I think.
Yeah, the scene where Chapel's holding a tray of medical instruments and just like drops with the.
I remember when I saw that the first time, I'm like, damn, she fell hard.
Yep.
She fell hard.
That was such a memorable fall that I recognized it. And then I went to look to see if that was a thing. Yeah.
She fell so hard. Yeah. I'm like, yep, that looks familiar. And then also, I think the people in the corridor also passing out from the sound. And right outside the door, as they're blowtorching, Spock and Kirk and Scotty are also writhing in pain at the noise. Spock, of course, with his extra super hearing, hears it first.
Adam and the girls start singing again as the camera cuts around the ship, showing everyone unconscious. And Severin declares it's time to leave for Eden at last. Kirk, Spock, and Scotty come to the hallway, and Shatner overacts his way into the room to turn off the ultrasonic weapon. This was classic Shatner. But then he calls around the ship, no answer. Finally, Sulu on the bridge answers the phone, and this didn't make any sense to me. Kirk asks, do we have control of the ship? And Chekhov says, no, control is still in auxiliary, which is where Kirk is standing.
They are.
Yeah.
That's true. Oh my goodness. I did not think of that. But then Kirk says, can we break out of orbit if we have to? But Sulu says, I think so. So wait, what? But then someone calls from the hangar deck and says that the shuttlecraft, it's the Galileo again. Oh no. That it's been taken while we were all knocked out. And so they're looking for Romulans because they are close to Romulan space.
This whole episode, I have my finger hovered over the button that plays Straight Out of Romulus. I'm waiting for the Romulans to show up so I can play the drop. I'm waiting. It never fucking happened.
No. So, yeah, they only got an hour. I mean, because that would have added to...
Oh, yeah.
The drama at the end is like a Romulan ship is coming in on sensors, and that would have just been,
You
perfect.
Could have made it a two-parter if you'd have stuck the Romulans in here.
Oh, man. 100%. Oh, well.
So Spock has the Galileo on the planet on his sensors, and except for the space hippies on the shuttle, he reads no life on the planet at all, neither humanoid nor animal. So they call up McCoy to meet in the transporter and plan to beam down to coordinates that will keep them hidden so they can sneak up on them. Let the space hippies think that they succeeded in destroying them, give them the jump, and Kirk leaves Scotty in command with instructions to try to explain it to the Romulans if they show up.
Good luck.
Good luck.
The Romulans are gonna shoot first and not give a shit about talking. So as they beam down to the planet's surface, this is also another reused planet surface scene. I think they show this gorgeous mountains and lake and stream, and I think this is the one from Shore Leave.
Yeah, it might have been. So KSM plus Chekhov materialize and remark about how this sure is like Eden, another fucking paradise planet. McCoy's like, I swear to all that is holy, if a fucking rabbit comes hopping out of those bushes,
I'm out of here.
Quit.
So they're gonna split up and go search for the hippies. And then Chiku, I guess he starts touching flowers because the next thing we hear is a scream from him. And this is when we find out that the grass and all the plant life is full of acid. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And even the fruit is poisonous to humans.
And we learn that very quickly as Spock finds Adam lying dead on the ground next to some kind of fruit with a bite taken out of it.
Oh my God! They've killed
Adam.
You bastards!
I don't know if you saw this as the camera held on Adam dead on the ground, but at 45:31, his fingers move. He's laying kind of like this with his hand up here, and you can see his fingers twitch. He's supposed to be dead.
He's an actor. Sarah.
But I saw it.
But he's not. This isn't real. Okay.
What? God, I can't wait till we get to Futurama. McCoy comes over and scans the fruit. Deadly poison. And Spock says, well, his name was Adam.
I mean, I didn't take it that way when he said it, but that's a good point.
No, this was Adam who ate the fruit in the Garden of Eden, and he dead. In the distance, they see the shuttle, and as they approach, the doors open, and hippies come spilling out with burns all over their bare feet. Finally, Severin comes to the door, and his feet are all burned too. McCoy wants to get them all back to the Enterprise, where he can help them, but Severin refuses. None of us are leaving Eden. And he leaps up and runs to the closest fruit tree. And despite Kirk and McCoy yelling at him to stop, and he runs up and grabs a fruit, which doesn't burn his hand, by the way. So the flowers will burn your hands, but not the fruit, I guess.
The ground will burn your feet.
Anyway, he takes a bite and falls out of the tree dead.
Oh my God! They've killed
Their leader, Dr. Severin.
you, bastards!
The bodies are piling up, Allie. Hope you're ready.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Back on the bridge, Palmer reports that she's got Starbase on the phone now, and Kirk tells her to let them know that we have 4 of the 6 ready to beam down. Scotty's in the transporter room where 3 of them are ready to beam down, but waiting on the 4th. Guess which one the 4th is?
She's got to say goodbye to her Chiku.
Chiku.
Kirk does ask Chiku if he wants to attend, and Chekhov is feeling responsible for I don't feel like he did anything terribly wrong.
No.
But he wants to apologize for his conduct. He didn't maintain the officer.
He didn't keep it in his pants.
Apparently not. They, they didn't show that, but yeah, so he's submitting himself for disciplinary action because he just feels like he lost his Starfleet decorum.
Kirk's like, hey, kid, don't worry about it. We all do dumb shit when we're young.
Yeah, I mean, look how many women I've fucked across the galaxy.
Right?
I mean, no big deal.
So Chekhov gets up to go to the elevator to go say goodbye, and the doors open, and Irina steps out onto the bridge because everyone's welcome on the bridge. This time, they found each other. Last time, he went looking for her, and she'd already gone. This time, they get to say goodbye. One last kiss, and Irina challenges Chekhov to be incorrect sometimes, and he challenges her to be correct. Spock tells Irina that he still believes, for some reason, he still believes, and hopes that she continues the search for Eden. And he says, I have no doubt but that you will find it or make it yourselves.
She leaves, and I thought this was funny. Kirk goes over to Spock and kind of leans over. And he says, we reach. As if, hey, I'm cool now. I'm using the kids play. And that's how they end the episode. Stupidest thing ever.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
We should end this episode saying Riz or something the kids say these days. You can't, old people like us, we can't say the hip lingo.
Was it Riz as their charisma?
Yeah.
I learned that a few weeks ago. I did know that. And yeah, we like to, the kids these days. I hate that I say that.
I know. Off to the next adventure, Herbert.
Boy, I'm sure glad that's over with.
I'm happy the affair is over.
Me too.
A most annoying, emotional episode.
Yeah, but I learned something today.
When dreams become more important than reality, you give up travel, building, creating.
One jealous god, if all this makes a god.
By sparing your helpless enemy, who surely would have destroyed you, you demonstrated the advanced trait of mercy.
Frankly, I was rather dismayed by your use of the term half-breed. You must admit, it is an unsophisticated expression.
So I wanted to go back to that one scene where Chekhov comes into sickbay and Tongo Rad asks them, why are you wearing so many clothes?
Mm-hmm.
Can't you breathe or something like that? And I just thought, well, I wonder if that was and it maybe the writers weren't that deep, but I took it as it is they framed this to be like the 60s, like the sort of free thinking time, and people are fighting the establishment. And I thought maybe that those clothes just represent the heaviness of Starfleet, the heaviness of responsibility, and the fact that he can't breathe, meaning he's not free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think part of it is, I think those, rowdy kids in the 60s would have looked at a military uniform in that same way, right?
Yeah.
Or even a suit, right? Remember, the monkey suit, put on the monkey suit. Like
anything authority.
Anything that represents that authoritarianism. Yeah. This is Star Trek's first big swing at anti-authoritarian ideas.
Yeah, but just also, I imagine this appealed to the younger people who, if they had any young people watching Star Trek back then.
Yeah.
I think this would appeal to them as like, hey, this is now. This is far out, dude. We reach.
A lot of people talk about Star Trek is a futuristic socialist utopia, and that's kind of a shorthand, of course, because it's not. Embedded in that is this kind of strict quasi-militaristic organization at the center of this whole thing. So
yeah.
There's rules and chains of command and authority. And the Space Hippies show an almost complete reversal of that idea, right? Because they were following this guru leader type. But their quest was for a true independence and self-determination.
I always think it's interesting how they always end up painting the leader of these types of movements as, well, do they paint them as insane or are they insane? Because when we look at what's happening today and there's this cult movement who's following this one specific person, he's insane.
Right.
We know he's insane.
Right.
But he's got a cult following. But then they paint Severin as, well, he's also insane. I think people need to question whatever they're doing all the time and not follow somebody blindly, because that's exactly what they were doing, because he was going to lead them to their death out of his own selfish whatever's going on in his head.
Oh, yeah. I had forgotten now and just remembered. Also, he's got COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We never came back to that. Never mind. Disregard the COVID.
Well, and he wants the right to spread it around. Like, why should I wear a mask?
Right.
Why do I need to wear a mask?
Yeah.
It's my right.
Oh my God.
Stop treating me like I'm like a prisoner. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Again, Star Trek continues to be relevant.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like I love that Spock appreciates their quest on finding Eden. And maybe like he said, maybe they can make it themselves if it doesn't already exist. Stop looking for a planet and maybe just make what you're looking for. Because, you can do that. But don't follow people blindly, because it's like people are looking for a leader and they're just mindless without a leader.
And beyond the leader, this whole quest for fucking paradise planets or whatever, sometimes the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Yeah, sometimes it's acid. Sometimes it's fucking acid.
Yeah. Severin's whole personal journey here, his resentment toward modern technology and advancement because it has personally negatively affected him, even if it's done overwhelming good for everyone else. It has been a negative on his life. And so collectively then, the journey to find Eden being about humanity's constant quest for a world free of conflict and suffering and inequities.
I love this episode, actually.
It was a good one.
Yeah.
But now and then, it's time to honor the dead.
2 died in this episode. Wrote a rhyme about it. Want to hear it? Here it goes.
Dead, Jim.
We are assembled here today to pay final respects to our honored dead.
On the search for Eden, the Space Hippies were resolute. They stole the shuttle and they were en route. Adam talked of eating the fruit and throwing away the rind, but that very fruit killed him. Fate was swift and unkind. What happens when you follow a leader that's insane? One who talks of freedom and of breaking the chain. Also one who knowingly carries a deadly strain. He ate of the fruit and he left this plain. Yeah, brother, yeah.
Yes. Oh, I should be snapping. Oh, I love it. That was amazing.
Oh my, this was such a good episode for me. I really enjoyed it, and I don't know why.
Let's get right to business.
Fine, I'm authorized to pay an equitable price. Federation has invested a great deal of money in our training. They're about due for a small return.
Listen, we pay off percentages. We're entitled to a little service for our money, huh?
Is this the way your citizens do business? Their right of petition?
They pay their percentages and the boss takes care of them.
Is there anything else?
All right, we want to thank all of our patrons. We especially want to thank our founding admirals. A special thanks to Russell, Allie, Peter, Sarah, and Sherry. And now here's another dopey recording from me and Allie doing some silly character or something to tell you more about it. Hey there, fellow cosmic wanderers. If you enjoy our interstellar banter on Humanist Trek, show us some love without breaking the bank. Drop a review like it's a warp speed compliment wherever you catch our show. For those feeling a bit more philanthropic, or just really loaded with Federation credits, consider becoming our esteemed patron. It's like joining an exclusive space club where you get the VIP treatment, early access, out-of-this-world merch, and a bonus content catalog that's more stacked than a Klingon's bicep. Oh my. Go ahead, visit patreon.com/humanisttrek and throw us a few space bucks. It's the best bargain this side of the Alpha Quadrant.
I assume you're loitering around here to learn what efficiency rating I plan to give your cadets.
Trainees, to the briefing room. Is that all you gotta say? What about my performance?
Aren't you dead?
I don't believe this was a fair test of my command abilities. There was no way to win.
There's no correct resolution. It's a test of character.
Now, what is that supposed to mean?
I am understandably curious.
May I ask you a question?
Who's been holding up the damn elevator?
All right, Becca's back now for the exciting conclusion. This week's question for the Starfleet Academy Cadet Challenge for The Way to Eden was...
Walter Koenig was highly critical of the writing for The Way to Eden. What was one of his main objections?
I think our answer, we agreed that he was not happy with the way that the hippie movement was portrayed. Okay, well, what's our answer then?
He felt that Chekhov was written as too authoritative, rigid, and by the book, a complete contrast from his usual and intended characterization.
Incorrect.
That makes sense. No, that makes total sense because he was brought on to like bring in a younger audience and damn it. All right, well, next time on Humanist Trek, we'll be reviewing Star Trek: The Original Series, Season 3, Episode 21, The Cloudminders. Kirk is forced into negotiating peace on a planet with severe class inequities. Now, I do remember a lot about, well, I don't remember a lot of details, but I remember that the premise of the people who live in the clouds versus the people who live on the planet, on the ground, because they revisit this idea in later Star Trek that, you know, as a way to show the inequality between the upper class and the lower class. So that much I remember. You, anything?
Don't remember. Okay. Nope, nothing.
What's our question for the Cloudminders?
Actor Jeff Corey, who played Placis.
Who?
Placis.
Okay.
Plasus.
Placis. Yeah, okay.
Placis.
Sure.
However.
Placis.
Nobody come for me. I don't really care. Anyway.
And you think we're going to take you on the cruise with us?
He was also...
You say that to a Star Trek fan, like, I don't care, and they'll beat you up.
Listen, anyway. Do you guys want a question or not? Because I'll just leave.
Yeah, go ahead.
Actor Jeff Corey, who played Placis, was also a director and teacher. Okay. In fact, he was an acting instructor for which regular TOS actor?
Oh, he was acting instructor for
He was
one
a
of
teacher and
an acting instructor for one of the original series series regulars.
Yes.
Okay, so you got Shatner,
Spock.
D. Kelly. Yeah, could be Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy,
Could be Jimmy Doohan.
Chekhov, or Walter Koenig. He was a regular teacher and instructor for one of those guys.
George Takei.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a gut instinct? Do you have a gut feeling? Because it could be any of them. I really don't know. But
I'm gonna go George Takei.
okay, I'm gonna go wild and do James Doohan. Maybe it has something to do with voice acting or like the language thing. I don't know. Oh, that could be Chekhov too with the Russian accent. I don't know. I'm gonna stick with James Doohan. All right, we're locked in. If you'd like to play along, head over to your social media, share this episode with the hashtag Starfleet Challenge and your answer, and we'll pick out our favorite, the funniest, maybe it's correct, maybe it's not, and we'll pick out a winner. Next time on Humanist Trek, Star Trek, the original series, Season 3, Episode 21, The Cloudminders.
Diftor he spasma.
Kapla!
Humanist Trek is available wherever you replicate your podcasts. Follow us on all the social medias at Humanist Trek. Become a patron at patreon.com/humanisttrek. Open hailing frequencies to podcast@humanisttrek.com and visit our website, humanisttrek.com. Humanist Trek is a production of Sarah Austin Media.